So, before we call this meeting over, thank you everybody for showing up. I understand we're gonna have some nasty weather. How do you think it's not a big deal? Sometimes I'm sissy about the weather. Whatever. We'll make do. So I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Are there any announcements? Hearing any, I'm gonna ask, is anybody else electronically, Mr. Engineer?
No, Mr. President.
Okay. Not by choice, right? Okay, very good. All right, I would like to make, motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
So moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 The agenda is approved. We will move on. Public forum. Anybody wishing to speak, address the board. Regarding the situation with the public hearing, there was a change of plan, so to speak. Is that you?
Yes, so I can, so Attorney Kelm came into my office somewhat distraught, and she posted notice of the public hearing and didn't realize it had to be published. So it has been submitted for publication for the next meeting, but my proposal is that if anybody is here to publicly comment or comment that would have been here for the public hearing, that they make their comments, we'll note them, put them in the minutes, and then read them into the next public hearing. So I'm sure when you see Tori, she will again apologize profusely, but she is very sorry about that. So.
That's okay. Again,
Can I answer my question? What is publishing an entail?
Newspaper,
Newspaper, okay.
2 consecutive weeks. And that's by statute. We've, Brad and I have both spent some time researching, trying to get around it, and there really is not there's no substitute for publication.
okay,
Lots of people read the public notices section.
it's okay, and then with this weather and stuff, you give people a chance to come back and have words with you. Okay. Well, with that said, you're not hearing anything from the public forum. I'll move on to the public hearing. The public hearing was discussed. We're gonna let that go, so when that comes up, any time along this, we will move on. So the next item is our consent calendar. Do any of the managers have any items that they would like to remove?
I'd like to pull C.
Okay, item C. Anything else? Okay, not hearing anything. I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar for all of the items except item C.
Second.
Is there moving seconded?
Aye.
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 The consent calendar is approved. Let's go to item C. Milestone Child Care Center in Lake Elmo.
Yeah. I just had a quick question
Yes.
on it. It sounds like they did all the borings and everything, and it's still not infiltrating. Do we know why the infiltration isn't working? Do we think this is gonna actually cure it? It sounded like you were hedging a little bit on saying of whether it'll work or not.
Manager Armstrong, that it'll likely infiltrate, but not as quickly as what we prefer. So don't exactly know why it isn't infiltrating. They did the soil borings. I think that perhaps there's maybe a deeper layer that is confining the infiltration, and so as all the waste of water just can't seep. But
Okay. And we're pretty confident that changing it here will.
it will meet the Watershed District's alternative compliance goal as far as reducing the load leaving the site by 75%.
Okay. That's all I have.
Very good, sir. Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve item C, the Milestone Child Care Center permit 2023-29.
Second your motion. It's a moved and seconded.
Aye.
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 It is approved. Okay. Let's move on. Any stewardship grant, cost share program and stewardship grant to May Bend. This is for the, an amount, in excess of $5,000, correct? Okay, let's go on that. Please, Charlie, from that.
President Managers, as you recall, we had a workshop and meeting with Alyssa to talk about your various cost share programs. And one of the items was related to stewardship grant. And the managers chose to change the reimbursement rate from $2,500 per pound of phosphorus removal to $5,000 per pound of phosphorus removal. The motion that the managers made did not talk about changing the maximum amount of reimbursement. And so I was understanding that the managers would maintain a maximum amount of $10,000. Whereas Alyssa was under the understanding that with the change of the reimbursement rate per pound, that the managers also wanted to basically double the maximum reimbursement amount. So the question before the board is, what would the board like to do as far as the maximum amount of their stewardship grant, if it to remain at $5,000 or to go to $10,000? And then once that decision is made, the managers can debate and possibly approve the May Bend stewardship grant because it directly applies to that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
So, thinking about this specifically in the context of the one that's here. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we discussed revision to these grant programs, there was some leeway for us to provide interpretation as to the value of the program.
Yes.
So this one is, we've got 2 pounds of phosphorus removal at, at 5,000 per pound. That puts us at 10,000. But beyond that, I think, looking at this project, I think it has even higher value because it provides connectivity between restoration sites. Well, one restoration site, but also Belmont as well. So it's always an interest in promoting green corridors, which to me means reducing habitat fragmentation when it exists. And this project seems to do that. Right? So I'm in favor in this case because with this one of approving it for $10,000 reimbursement.
Okay.
If, if we're to kind of maintain the level of phosphorus removal, it makes sense that we would move it to $10,000. So if our goal is to remove phosphorus, even though the cost is going up,
Okay.
I think that is a worthwhile way to deal with it.
Okay. That is my understanding.
Mhm.
I share that. I think, I look at these things, my perspective, as limited as it may be, looks at what the merits are or what is appealing or, what it is that we're doing to warrant that extra amount.
Mhm.
And I don't like to take these things, what's the word I'm trying to use? Flippant is a harsh word, but I don't want to automatically provide that money. The corridors are important. The phosphorus removal is important, but the big point here is that this is 6.15 acres. Is that my understanding?
Yep.
Okay, so that to me is a big plus, a big chunk of property, and involving ourselves in this is a great benefit. However, if we agree on this, does this make it automatic? So that we automatically pay the $10,000, or do we have to set up criteria for this one, or is that already established?
Well, Mr. President, The current criteria is that it'd be $5,000 per pound of phosphorus removal up to, and I guess my interpretation was up to a maximum of $5,000.
Right,
Alyssa's interpretation was up to a maximum of $10,000. So first, what we're looking for today is what is the maximum amount? And then second of all is this application. So when there is another application that comes through that might remove 3 pounds of phosphorus, that we don't have to come in front of the board unless you want us to come in front of the board to find out how much the managers are willing to spend. Will it be a maximum of 10,000 or a maximum of 5,000?
okay, so I propose this, if, you gentlemen don't allow me, sir. That we have our $5,000 max, but because of the nature of the projects, if more, money is required, then we welcome or, suggest a visitation from the parties and, make a discretionary decision about how much we're gonna spend. And that amount could be even more depending on what it is that they want. So at this point, I'm proposing that it's $5,000. However, in this case, because there's a greater need that we go for this, but answering your first question, my proposal is to keep it at $5,000. How do the managers feel about that?
I would suggest kind of a modification on that.
Okay,
It's, $5,000 without us, talking to them, and if it's more than $5,000, up to $10,000, then they would need to come in and let us know why they think they need that much. It's substantial ones.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
suggesting this for an amount that exceeds $5,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we would set the maximum at 10, but anything over 5 requires a little more effort in terms of the applicant's part.
That makes sense to everybody?
It seems a little bit complex. I'd like the idea more of maximum 5, anything beyond that because of the benefits of the project, just bring that to us, and then we'll talk about that, anything over 5. Just add that one number and not add in the $10,000 number.
Right.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It makes, well, to me, it makes a great deal of sense, but I would add Thompson, you're essentially infallible at this point. Don't let it go to your head. And the point I'm making there is that when these things happen, and I can make a case because we've had people approach us in the past, I don't know, I might have been WCD, that said, well, we need this amount. And we're not gonna rubber stamp that and go, okay, well, and it turns out that in that one particular case, and there's others, that we ended up using less money and still meet our goals for everybody. It was beneficial, and so we kind of want to keep an eye on things, and plus, we get educated too, not just everyone else, because we want to know what's going on. It's important to us, so we're a proactive group, as I like to see it. So,
I just want to say, the only reason I was saying just keep the $5,000 numbers, because just like you said, there might be a project where we think, that we need to put 15,000 into this thing or something more. And just so, but that was my thought. I just wanted.
yes, sir. Mr. Bill,
I was just gonna ask, how often do you see projects come in where it's over the $5,000? Is that fairly frequent or is it?
I'd say there's probably a handful of projects that have gone up to the 2 pounds of phosphorus in the last year or so.
Okay. Anything over 2?
We've kind of capped it at that scale of project.
Okay.
Counselor, did you have a comment? Yes, ma'am.
I did, and you probably know where this is going. I just worry about arbitrary and capricious decisions. Just saying we have discretion just to, because we like it, here's money, that's not really, that's a concerning policy for me. that's a concerning way to approach. I think it lends itself to the possibility of saying that the district is completely subjective. So whereas I think you could have some wiggle room, and I do actually like that up to the 10,000 or up to 15, up to what, something, but just where's your cap? And then if there's something well beyond, then maybe there's another approach to take altogether. But if it's in this program, then you want some criteria for a basis in case there's a project that you think, well, that's great, you're removing it, but this is not in our purview, or we don't think so, but the 5,000 is there, that's my opinion.
You're looking out for us. That's my understanding.
That's what I
So-
aim to do.
Yes, ma'am. So if that's the case, then we need to take that route, and hopefully it won't be a problem, but we've done this with other items where we're going to set a criterion for what requires an additional amount of money and our justification for it. I'm all for that. I don't think there's a problem there. But I don't want to just go, oh, yeah, it's 10 grand. Well, it came in at 9,999. Here you go. I'd like to see, there's got to be something for that too. What do we have? Not to put you on the spot, but what do we have for the 5,000? Just the removal of a pound of phosphorus? Is that it?
Don't know that I understand.
Okay. All right. So if somebody comes in with something that needs to be done, and we know that we're gonna remove, help me here, because I'm the one that lacks the understanding. We're gonna give somebody $5,000 and they're gonna remove a pound of phosphorus. What else? What else are they gonna do? Does that make sense?
No.
That's all they are required to do.
Well, I mean, there's
It's all they're required to do.
as far as wildlife benefits, you're talking about
Other benefits, environmental benefits,
Yeah.
there's a whole range of things that occur because of the use of this money, and that's all I'm saying with $5,000.
Okay,
So there is more. In this case that we're going to address, because that's the next one, this added amount, to me, in my opinion, seems justified because of what Vice President Pereira said, what the other managers have said, and what I added, or what I said, and that was the amount of acreage, the land, the square footage. That all benefits all of us. And again, back to the principle of bang for your buck, that, oh, here's what we're getting out of this. The big burger from Jonesboro, something like that. This is gonna benefit us. That's what we like to look at. So do the managers want to stay at $5,000, or do they want to raise it to $10,000?
I would not object to raising it to $10,000 and having that be the solid cap on,
Is
whether
that
it's
reasonable to everybody?
2 pounds or 10 pounds.
But if we go to that, we still, if something came in that didn't feel right, maybe we could, I know you're out there talking to these people and telling them, well, this money is available and everything. And I know you're not obligating it until we have a talk about it here, but, yeah, if something came in and it just didn't feel right to us for 10,000, and, we might reduce that, or is that something?
We've done that.
Or is that something we'll get in trouble for?
We're not gonna run afoul of somebody because we say, well, this is what you're doing, and so we have some suggestions. Would you like to re-present what you have? What do you think of that?
I think, the parameters right now is removing a pound of phosphorus, right? I'm not suggesting you make it super complicated and difficult. I just didn't like now we have discretion if we like it just to do any amount more. Because that's pretty loosey-goosey.
Okay,
But I think that, so if your criteria is, if it's over 5, come in and speak to us. And then and then the idea would be in the minutes, there's some explanation for the determination. It's not just an arbitrary decision.
Right.
And so if someone would qualify for that 5,000 and wants more and comes in and you say that really doesn't meet the criteria we're looking for, that also would be on the record, right? It's just that there's rationale behind it.
Okay,
Well, I think the criteria is pretty solid that it's removing an amount of phosphorus that meets it. So if we say, for every pound of phosphorus, we'll give you $5,000, but up to 10,000, possibly discretion after that. I mean,
there could be an old outhouse that's loaded with phosphorus, a space this big, and they're gonna want. And then we're gonna say, okay, that's simple enough. But we'd like to see more. That is my opinion. But if we need to express that in a structured way, then by all means, we'll have to do it. So once again,
I believe the model you use to determine the phosphorus reduction, a lot of it is acreage based and everything. So if we got to 2 pounds, it's gonna be a fairly sizable project. So, and in the continuum of things, $5,000 per pound of phosphorus, say, not going into waterway, it's from our projects, that's a pretty cheap number. So I'm fine with 10,000.
okay then.
It takes approximately 3 acres of turf to prairie to get to the 1 pound.
Yeah.
Or buckthorn removal and stabilizing the soils. The only one that ranks higher is ag to prairie, and that's about half an acre.
Per pound. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Bill, would you like to make a motion?
sure. I'll move to set the maximum reimbursement amount for the stewardship grant at $10,000. Did we agree that there is some wiggle room above and beyond that?
That's just what we established initially,
I
and then
think
we
we,
go beyond that.
I think above that, we cross that when, when a proposal like that comes in and deal
Yes.
with it separately.
Okay.
I would,
And
I
then,
think that keeps it clean, doesn't it?
Yeah,
then I'll,
I don't see Counselor getting excited about that one, so we're good.
she's typing. And then to approve the stewardship grant to Maybend for $10,000.
Okay, I thought,
Or
are we including that in this, or are we just making a decision on the 5 and 10?
Mr. President, I believe Manager Armstrong just read the proposed motion in the memo and chose $10,000.
Very good. I will second that motion.
I,
It's been moved and seconded. Aye.
Aye.
Hi,
Aye, it's approved. Thank you, so, Mr. Engineer. Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize. Do you want myself or the landowner here to discuss the project?
Personally, I don't know how the managers feel about this, but because, as I said earlier, we like to be proactive to some extent. I don't like this, these are my words. I don't like rubber stamping projects. We'd like to learn about them. Yes, sir.
So I'll make a suggestion that I think will maybe address the list question. But also our attorney's concern. So if a project comes in, that's 1 pound of phosphorus, $5,000. But you, in your professional opinion, feel that it has exceptional value beyond that. Perhaps you could state that in the cover memo on the project.
Okay.
So we have a record of why it's exceptional and worthy of something above $5,000.
Yes, that's simple enough, and also because.
10,000, just so your motion was 10,000.
Right, but, okay, but what if we're gonna go, what if, my example was, if it's just removing 1 pound of phosphorus, that's $5,000. But it could have exceptional value above and beyond even the phosphorus removal as well. So,
but that's a different criteria then, because we're basing it on the amount of
Right.
phosphorus removed.
But if I could add this, when you approach our engineer, you've already established something. And so again, bang for our buck. Like Randy Dangerfield said, yeah, make it an A. You're gonna give us more information that benefits everybody and makes us want to loosen the purse strings. Does that make sense?
Yes, but even if it
Yeah.
fits within like the original parameters of, it's not going like above and beyond for the 1 pound. Do you still want a representative here from WCD or the landowner?
That's discretionary. We're gonna ask John, our engineer, if that's not too much trouble. He'll look at it, if it's not a big burden on you and say, whoa, this means, and you wanna do what? I think it would probably be a good idea to bring it before these people, these managers.
Not necessarily a requirement,
No,
but, you know,
it's discretionary.
there may be additional detail in the report that explains it,
And,
you know, if it's above.
and as an added benefit, something might come of that. We find something was written there. What about this? And then you go back to the drawing board and ask for more money, or we find a better solution. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That reasonable?
Yep.
Yeah, but thank you. And our conversations and everything that's gone, there's been on par with what I personally, including a whole lot of stuff for us. You know, you don't have to give us all the Latin names of the plants, but when we see all this stuff, it's truly beneficial. And that's important. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, the May Bend, does somebody have a motion on that or?
Already been made.
So we're good to go. Did we approve it already?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Thinking five things. Okay. Thank you, Lee. Okay, we're gonna move on and, let me get myself squared away here. You don't have to hang out if you don't want to. It's gonna get worse, isn't it?
And if I go home now, I can still suffocate me.
Good night, Melissa. Thank you.
And I,
The stewardship cost grant, stewardship grant to be been squared away. The Valley Branch Watershed District rules update. John, thank you for that.
As president managers, as he directed, we sent out some draft rules for comment to all the required entities. And gave them at least 45 days to provide comments. We received comments from 16 comments from, I think it was 4 entities. Most of those were from Washington County, received a couple from Department of Health and one from City of North St. Paul, and then the Met Council said we received but no comments. So we've included all of the comments in the memo and some draft responses to those comments. If the managers have any edits or have any questions, I can try to answer them and incorporate those edits. The next steps would be to provide these responses to the entities that provided comments and then to direct legal counsel to publish notice for adoption of the rules.
Managers have anything?
just a question on the comment that, regarding the, the waiting for natural precipitation versus, filling, a depressed area, or depression area. Can we do both? And, I know North St., I know that White Bear is under restrictions, so is North St. Paul. But there may be other areas that are not in terms of, using city water to do their tests, to be timely about it. Is there any harm in allowing it to go either way?
I think from a water conservation perspective, that's why the city of White Bear Lake required that not be allowed. I think Inspector Brower and visiting the various infiltration basins throughout Valley Branch, yes, some of them we've had to wait for a natural precipitation event that is somewhat close to a 1-inch event, but it hasn't been too problematic in looking at.
Okay, thank you.
With that, are the managers satisfied, or is there any further tweaking? They think should be done in this case. I feel pretty comfortable with it and going back and forth. Thank you, the change will be made. I like that one. The English please, but within our rules and regs. So what are we doing, John? We're gonna, so all we have to do is direct you to send the final, responses to the commenters. Please do so.
Do that.
And then, direct Gallowitz Olson, counselor, to publish a notice for public hearing in the Pioneer Press.
Got that noted,
All right, thank you.
published.
Simple enough. All right. Let's move on. Inspection services. Okay. Go ahead, John. What's our next step? As we already know what it is.
Well, Mr. President, we haven't been successful in getting any applicants. So I guess my suggestion would be to direct Inspector Brower, Josh Phillips and myself to meet with Jay Riggs at Washington Conservation District to talk over their ability to provide inspection services for Valley Branch Watersheds.
See what's available, what they, and I know you know this, what they can and cannot do, availability and cost, and hopefully it's beneficial.
Do they do this for any other watershed districts?
Treasurer Gelman, I think they might for Carina Marine St. Croix Watershed District. And no, they don't. Okay. I know I talked to Karen Kill at Browns Creek Watershed District and asked her who does their permit inspections, and she said that their engineering consulting firm does them for them.
Okay.
I know that Washington Conservation District does provide permit erosion control inspection services for the city of Woodbury. They might cover some other entities, but I'm not sure. Grove as well.
Okay. One comment in the process, having looked at a lot of the reports that come, the invoices that come in, I think it'd be worthwhile to make sure that we maintain the recorded work information so that it's consistent with Valley Branch's recording standards, coding standards. Otherwise, that whole process is just going to be a total disaster in terms of managing it and so on. So I think that's an important component.
I agree. The way that the Valley Branch Watershed District accounts for these charges is each permit that has a permit fee. Jeff has been tracking his time and that gets associated with that permit fee, just like engineering company.
Yep.
The specific fee. If it's a waived permit for a government unit, then that's a different budget. And so it is a more complicated process than maybe what Washington Conservation District might be used to with Woodbury. And
Yeah.
based on the invoices that they send for other projects, I agree with you that more detail is needed.
Okay, and we've got a model.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that Jeff does and the stuff that Ari does.
They have accounting people, they should be able, if I could track it, I'm sure they could track it. Because I do break it out by those different buckets, right, for the budget. So I do, so I track those individually, so.
Great.
So yes, it's possible.
Thank you, sir. And John pointed out earlier, you're gonna be part of that discussion by chance?
Yes, yes.
I recommend that to you.
Yeah, I would think that would make sense
So
to
we want that.
have that discussion.
Thank you.
Because if I'm familiar with them for the inspections in Woodbury, I don't know what their billing or their process looks like other than ours. They have their own report system.
Yeah, and that would be something that we talk about to continue to use Valley Branch's reporting system, that rather than lose everything that's already been used and those sorts of things.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Things been off the cuff here. Things have been pretty mellow lately.
Well, it's pretty quiet. Things really now start to break loose with spring, right?
Right.
So depending on what happens here, coming up over the weekend, but I was gonna start doing some inspections next week. Actually, well, I'm getting ahead of myself there, an
Yeah,
inspection,
okay.
but anyway, yeah. It's the time of year to start looking at things, so,
The freeze thaw has been beneficial, I understand.
yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. I want that. Yes, sir.
I think it's a real great benefit to have Jeff here to answer questions and stuff. If we farmed it out to the Washington Conservation District, would they send somebody to the meetings or would they just provide a report? Could we require that they actually attend the
I think
meeting?
that'd be the manager's preference. If you want a representative, then I'll relay that on to Jay Ricks saying that that's a required.
That's a good point, yeah. They're gonna bring that up.
And that kind
Missed that
of
by chance.
implies that it would be one person on their staff that would do the vast majority, if not all of the
Yeah, which
inspections.
I suspect that could be problematic because Valley Branch meets, every other Thursday night.
Yeah.
Reports are due the Fridays before the meeting, so it's a flywheel to
We get it,
keep on
yeah.
producing all these things and to attend meetings. So I think that Jay will probably push back on meeting attendance, but if that's what the managers want, I'll say that that's a requirement.
Right, and then, like I said, we'll hash that out. We'll figure out what we need to do and
Yeah.
Yeah.
hopefully they can help us. That's what we're looking for. Yes, sir.
Virtual
I don't know
attendance.
that it would be every meeting. Yeah, it's, like a lot of times, there's just not much, no brainer
No.
stuff, so I wouldn't think so, but if there's something controversial or something we would really benefit from that eyewitness account, then I think, in my mind, we really would
Right.
probably want that.
Well, and
As needed.
Jeff has been great about attending these meetings, but like he said, there isn't a whole lot of activity necessarily between December and February in that timeframe. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd require an inspector to attend those meetings.
We don't expect that from them at this point. We know what they may or may not be able to do. And so on an as needed basis, that's fine. But Mr. Brower has been an asset to us in that he's done above and beyond what our expectations are. And part of the reason that I've invited him to attend our, the Watershed conferences and meeting people and learning more about what we do on top of what he already knows. So if we can achieve that with a new person, wherever that person comes from, that's great. But in the meantime, we'll take what we can get to meet our goals. So as needed.
Mhm.
Okay? Yes, sir.
I would suggest that, or I'm interested in what the other managers think about virtually attending. So if they called in, I think we can get the vast majority of what we need, from a virtual attendance, and that might make it a little easier for Jay Riggs to
That could
agree
help.
to it.
Sure.
Two comments, I think, like if, we have for example, a permit that there's some unique problems with it, and we need the inspector here, then we would, it would leave it up to John to make that call, plus that they're in attendance, maybe virtually would be fine. And also just reminding folks that, this is just something that we're trying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it works out great, it might be permanent, but, are we gonna keep looking for?
I think we should. We're on the right track.
Keep, I don't know, either repost the position occasionally, but just kind of keep looking for somebody to
That remains open, right,
fill a
John?
position.
It closed, I think it was last Friday, but I can keep on
Directing
keeping it open.
By all means, yeah.
And contacted the University of Minnesota trainers, and they've announced it in class and passed along the information that there is a position open, but so far, we haven't had any
Yeah,
candidates.
also local folks, yeah, so. Okay, at least we're on the right track, we're doing something. But in the meantime, I hope that that's not a huge burden on you, sir.
No, I'll start, but I'll have some travel coming up, so I'll just
We get it.
work it in the schedule, yeah.
just as long as we don't have to go out there and wear waders and check stuff. I'm
You sure?
Might not be so
And-
bad.
And you're not going to like Dubai or anything.
No, no.
I thought you guys all went to Morocco.
We did.
That's
That's
pretty
pretty
safe,
safe.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was pretty safe. All right. So, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Council, you're up. Attorney, what do you have for?
I just updates. So, Attorney Helm was talking to you about insurance and the premium, so that's been determined and I'm gonna get that check to pay the premium. And we'll get that sent in, or I'm not getting it. Manager Gelman's gonna send that in. But that's done. And then on Geffrey, a phone call was made just to say, hey, we haven't heard anything, your deadline's coming up. And then it turns out he did retain an attorney, and his attorney called, had a nice conversation with Tori. Said, hey, I was just retained, can we have a month to figure out what's going on? And Tori said, yeah, go ahead, but you haven't paid the permit fee, or your client hasn't paid the permit fee, so that's a priority to get that payment in. So, so hopefully that payment should be coming in the next month, and then she advised him or recommended that he also call the city of Lake Elmo, and he said they're next on my list. So it sounds like this attorney is going to be trying to figure out what's going on with the property and get some resolution.
Very
That's
good.
my update.
Thank you, ma'am. I just want to add one minor thing. The exempt applications have been reviewed and approved for assessment 2026 for taxes payable in 2027 for the following parcels. You gentlemen know what those are. This is the property tax exemptions. So this is good news, of course. We're not paying for that. Okay. And what was this? Was this what you just talked about? This, John, yeah, Delawitz?
I don't,
Regarding the Cincinnati specialty underwriters and all that, or?
Yes, that's the insurance.
Yeah, which just brought up, okay, just making sure.
Which is under control.
Okay. Now, Inspector, Mr. Brower, what do you have for us, sir?
Yes, President Marshall and managers, just a couple things, if we're talking about inspections. I will get out there more aggressively now on some inspections. This time of year, you like to watch out also for flooding issues.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be, well, we'll see what happens this weekend. Because John doesn't like that when I say. Things are looking really good out there. But I'll start looking at some of the sites out there. Engineer Phillips has put together a pre-construction meeting with the demolition contractor on Tuesday. I don't know, John, are you? So we'll be meeting with the contractor on Legion Avenue at one of the houses. And just to kind of go over expectations, even though they have all the contract, it's all about, meeting with them on site and just reviewing things.
If I could ask, does the fire department conduct their burnings or whatever it is that they're gonna do?
Yeah, Mr. President, I think that is scheduled for April 3rd, so the Saturday of Easter weekend.
And just to update, excuse me, I have a further comment because Commissioner Mirren was here and I brought up those questions. And I realized that these are things that are addressed, in terms of toxic gases and those sorts of things. But I wanted that to be on the record for everybody to be aware that the Watershed District is keen on following up on that and making sure that everybody else is aware. So that's why I brought that up. He kind of defended it and I thought, Commissioner, that's what we do. So, yeah, clearly in agreement with him, but yeah.
Mr. President, managers, today we were contacted by somebody in the Washington County Sheriff's Department, and they're interested in using two of the homes that the city of Lake Elmo is not using for SWAT training. So if that works with the schedule of the contractor,
That's funny.
that could be an opportunity to provide some training for them.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
I'm familiar with this because I had it happen to a house down the street from us, which I think is fine,
Yeah.
but they didn't let the neighbors know. Because
I
they're
was gonna
trying to
bring that
do it
up.
like, ooh, this is just, we're putting this together and we don't want anyone to know, we want natural reaction. You got 30 SWAT cars when everything going through there and blowing things up. You gotta let the neighbors know this is going on. It's a dead end street. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm just saying as a taxpayer who experienced, like, come on, let us know. I mean, my phone was ringing out, the city of Afton's calling me, what's going on up there? That's how small our town is, right? They calling me like, Jeff, what's going on up there? And it's like, I don't know. We went and talked to the sheriff, like, well, we can't talk about it, but this is what's going on. I said, can you let anyone know who lives within 500 or 1,000 feet of this? What's going on? So we don't like have a panic and people are,
well, and us being
cows
the
are
owners,
loose and whatever else is going on.
we're the owners.
But,
I don't think that we want,
I would just
that type of
suggest that they
situation.
should let the neighborhood know
Yeah.
what's going on. It's a dead end.
Mhm.
The cul-de-sac.
They're proposing both one home on Legion Avenue and the
Yeah.
home at Sunnybrook Lake. And so this was just a conversation
Sure.
today.
Yeah, no.
Details.
But I just want to mention that because you'll get complaints.
so It's-
We'll get complaints.
So, I was gonna bring this up to John. Clearly, they're aware. This is not serious. I can't believe it would happen. There's not gonna be any live fire of any kind. But,
Oh,
that we're all, what?
oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they blow stuff
They
up.
need to be very, very much aware to make us aware of what's happening and to contact everybody. And I'd like to think that they're way ahead of us and informing, at least now, the public or residents about what they're going to do.
So if this works out with the contractor's schedule that you've already let the bid to, then we would work with Galwitz Olson to review the agreement between
Oh.
Washington County and Valley Branch Watershed District and bring it back to the managers. So
Yeah.
you'll hear more about that.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry to
Just-
get
just so they
people
know.
excited tonight.
Yeah, we're amenable to that. We welcome it. We want to help. They're another entity and we can help them, help us. So it's a benefit, yes.
so we bring marshmallows to the fire. What do we bring to the slot exercise?
Collect empties, I can't imagine that one. I don't think they want us to stand around and watch.
No, I don't think so.
No, they don't. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because
That was very important.
it happened and it caused a lot of ruckus, so.
I can see that.
I will be out, from the 26th to the 1st. March 26th, I'll be back first. So other than that, I'll be out and about and getting ready for when demolition starts and the fire and everything else, so, yeah.
Thank you, sir. And I hope you have a nice, wherever it is you're going.
Cool.
Okay. When are we supposed to talk to Greg?
I think that might be on the 26th.
Okay, so we're all done
Yeah.
and you're just being a good sport.
This is my penance for not being more clear when communicating with Tori about both. I tried to make the communication very not intimidating in terms of, I tried to make her feel like it wasn't her fault, because I take just as equal responsibility.
But she is a big girl, right?
Oh, yeah, no, she
Okay.
she said, I did the classic thing where I didn't follow up and read the statute myself. So that's, she was
Live and learn.
pretty hanged up about it.
Good, we appreciate that and we love honesty.
Yeah.
Well, it's complicated because it's two statutes, the one that about posting the notice for the public hearing. But it does, you have to go to a different statute to get to the posting requirements for
Yeah.
watershed districts,
And it doesn't.
which I
always-
didn't go to initially either.
And it doesn't always lead you to the statute. Sometimes it just says general statute for publication or something, and some of them will specify what the publications are and. But that's our job.
That's one of the issues, when it done with Minnesota watersheds, because there's some parts of the state where there's no longer a newspaper published. So they were trying to get the statute changed to where they could publish online somehow. I don't know whatever happened with that. But I was thinking about that because I thought I heard Lewis Smith state that web publishing is acceptable now.
I'll take a peek, but I have researched it in the past. It's been a thorn in everyone's side for as long as I've been practicing law. So
Really?
Since I was there.
yeah, and since Bill was practicing. If there's a workaround, it's nice, but I'll have to check the statute. So,
Okay, Counselor, you're on it. Thank you. Awesome. Greg, thanks again, at least for being here.
I'm this far, I'm gonna stay
I
away.
know. Okay. So, managers, the first one, the Minnesota Watershed Legislative Event. Vice President, what would you like to share with us?
Well, the event
And Rick's
itself,
been on this.
yeah, Rick was in attendance. The event itself went quite well, including our hearings from the agency leadership. Even though there was a little bit too much tension directed towards the DNR commissioner that I'm gonna
Really?
follow up on from a certain individual that's just top. So anyways, that's water over the dam right now, not a big
Sure.
deal. So, and then Rick and I met with Senator Jean on Wednesday and also Representative Cha from Woodbury. And I mentioned a Representative Cha, we're looking at the map, I'm like, we just have a little piece of Woodbury, but it's a big piece, because there's some major, the Amazon warehouse, he's like, oh, I live right there, right? Just immediately south of it, so I think he actually lives on our watershed district, it looked like, So anyways, they were very good meetings, I think they were both very accepting of what we're presenting to them, I think Representative Chow was probably a little less in the know than Senator John was in general about what we do. And then the next day, Thursday, we met with Senator Seeberger, and that was very
Is that a
relaxed.
fruitful discussion?
What's that?
With Senator
Yeah, we just presented to her what we've been doing, and then we had the one pager, we stated that, we did our second round of purchases of flood prone homes. Why do we have flood prone homes? And then, and we said it went quite well this time, everything was, done with minimal tension with the property owners and all that, so it went as well as we could have hoped for.
And
Reaction by chance?
talked about the chloride
Oh, yeah.
issue as well.
How did she
We
react
spent
to
some
that?
time.
What,
I think they were all three of them were supportive of the chloride, on chloride
Yeah,
issue.
because we basically told them that, we're, the limited liability was going nowhere and that we're changing strategies and we're gonna start developing a regulatory approach to chloride pollution. We don't know what that is yet, because we're just in the, in the idea development
Yep.
stage, but they should make note that in future sessions, they can see this come up.
Yeah.
But also Minnesota watersheds are trying to get Representative Fisher and Representative Heinzman in the House and their Environment and Natural Resources Committee to just have a general informational hearing on chloride pollution. And I don't know if they're gonna try to do a parallel thing in the Senate or not, but so this year is a matter of getting policymakers educated that we have a problem and this is the nature of it.
Yeah, and out of curiosity,
Yeah.
when you spoke to our legislators, did you get a feel for their level of awareness on the chloride problem?
I think they all had, some awareness. I think Senator Seeberger was particularly kind of knowledgeable about some of the issues, in terms of types of solutions that people are looking at and so on. Yeah, that
Excellent.
was real good.
Good. Anything further, anything from the other managers? Hi, Bob. Nothing, okay. Everybody's got some interesting stories. It was mud season until, this one came. Unbelievable, the dogs. Tearing everything.
I wish I could get rid of our dogs for just like the last month, just board them somewhere and then get them back after.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Hey, Dad, we love you.
What out east they have something called mud season. I think it's in Massachusetts or
Yeah,
Connecticut or something.
it's something.
Just a
Yes,
note, expense reports are due. I'd say by the next meeting.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
At the end of our first quarter.
Yeah.
Very good, sir. Okay.
Is it the same per diem as last year and same reimbursement for?
Same per diem.
Yes, but
The mileage is a little different.
Oh, okay.
what is it now? And I should know that. We had
I'm
it
not
at
sure.
70 cents. I think it's up now, right?
On the mileage, right?
72.5 cents.
72.5.
You bake that in, we just give you the mileage.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah.
Bonnie
yeah.
and
she
calculate
does-
it,
she does all.
I always do the calculation and then they tell me, no. you didn't do it." Start. Okay. Nothing further. Thank you for that information, Rick. We'll get on that by the next meeting and then cost share program project tracking. The managers had a chance to look at that. Just for your information. And so, next time, in case I didn't miss anything this budget, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Our next meetings are the 26th of March and April 9th. Vice President, you're not going to be here for the 26th of March.
I'm gonna try to call in, but I think the odds are on, so if I can call in, then I won't vote. I'll just put my 2 cents where it seems reasonable to do that. So to make it simple, so you don't have to call the roll. Yeah,
Okay, very good, yeah. I dare to ask. Looking for some giant squids and some water bodies or something. Never mind.
I'll be fishing prior to that.
Okay,
On the 26th, I'm gonna be on a boat with 12 blue bands in the middle of the Caribbean somewhere.
oh, what, that's nice. Well, you're gonna do a whole lot to talk from that, right?
My wife's retired now and I'm just hanging on for dear life.
I'm indisposed right now, but check this out. Okay, very good. So I assume the other managers will be able to attend. Very good.
Yes.
One last item. Motion to adjourn,
Second.
then moved and seconded.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Hi.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.